can do it. Sure we can do it. We just got to, yeah, 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 yeah. I know we can do it. Sure we can do it. We got to, yeah.
It's Monday the 1st of May and here in the UK it's a national holiday. All the banks are closed, so it's a bank holiday. And it's traditionally a time when it pours with rain, and yes, it did that. And in my last vlog I put a film of the amazing thunder and lightning storm that we had just a couple of hours ago. But I wanted to include that in yesterday's vlog. I didn't want to distract from talking about vegetables today. But not just vegetables, I want to talk about fruit as well. Because it seems like we've hit the beginning of May and there are all sorts of fruit and veg really starting to come into their own, and I can begin to see what we might have cropping this year. These are white currants. Look at those little currants forming there. Yes. So we've got white currants, and the strawberries in the bed over here are in flower. And we've got blueberries that are flowering and forming embryonic little blueberries. Oh, I'm quite excited about that. Here's a different kind of blueberry in flower. That's a really pretty colour. And this plant, still in its pot, is a honeyberry. Now I've got absolutely no idea what this fruit is going to be like. We were given these plants, there's a pair of them. Actually, we were given lots of plants by James and Dee from Happy Homestead, who've they've moved up to the other end of the country, almost as far as you can go. They've moved up to one of the Isles of Orkney, and before they moved, they really kindly gifted us loads and loads of their fruit bushes. So we've got all sorts of currants and berries, courtesy of them. And we've also got an awful lot of fruit trees that we've planted this year. So we're not expecting much fruit from them this year, but it's good to see that they're growing. Earlier in the year, my friend Jane came over to stay overnight and to spend a couple of days gardening with me. Now, Jane is the sort of friend that everybody needs. She's a really jolly good egg, and she's an absolute whiz in the garden. And I've known Jane for donkey's years, and we've gardened together pretty much for all of those years. Anyway, Jane moved this tree, which is an apple tree, and it was tucked away behind the greenhouse in a really silly place, because as soon as it starts growing it's going to break all the glass in the greenhouse. So bless her, she dug it up and we put a hole here in the food forest and popped it in, and I've watered it like mad in the hope that it would survive. Well, it's got blossoms on it, and here we go. Look at this. It's got loads. It's got loads of blossoms. I'm really pleased. So Jane, thank you for your help. Thank you for helping this tree survive, because it certainly wouldn't have survived tucked away behind the greenhouse. What a star of a friend you are. I don't want too many apples on it this year, because I don't want to put that much stress on the tree that's newly transplanted, but just some would be absolutely lovely. And at the other end of the garden, I've started bringing some soil and some composted wood chippings and some homemade compost onto the bed here, the one that I've had laid cardboard onto, and the wind had blown the cardboard away about half a dozen times, so I'm finally getting that sorted. And the magnificent globe artichoke, it's so huge. I'm sure that it's going to flower this year and provide us with a delicacy. I absolutely love artichoke hearts. Got plenty of veg showing promise. The onions and the broad beans. And these lovely purple little gem lettuces. They're absolutely ready. We've been eating them for about the last 3 weeks. And there's still loads more than we'll ever eat here. So we've been giving them away to people. And when we look down the garden, you can see there's still, there's a bed. This bed needs attending to, and that one. But I'm getting more and more of them cleared and prepared. The potatoes that we're growing under weed suppressing membrane, well, they're all popping up nicely. Look. And they're really starting to grow on. Quite recently, Mr. J bought some potatoes at a local supermarket, and they were really, really nice. And they are a variety called Marabelle, Marabel, Marabelle. And they were very buttery, and they were quite yellow, but they were very buttery. So I asked him to pop back to the shop that he got them from and buy another packet or another bag of them, and I'm going to plant those in the hope that we'll then be able to grow our own crop of them, and if it's not a great crop, that's fine, we'll keep them and we'll save them as seed for next year. I'm fairly close to the apple tree. I've got a patch of rhubarb. I only planted this last year, but that seems to be doing fairly well. And next to it, I know I'm not growing grass, that's that's a blackcurrant in there. It's just some grasses growing through it, and I'm in two minds as whether to pull the grass out, because I don't want to disturb the roots of the blackcurrant, but I also don't want the grass competing for nutrients, so I'll have a think about that one. There's some borage there. The flowers of borage are absolutely lovely, put into ice cubes, perfect in gin and tonic. And then there's another strawberry plant there, and over here, well, this is the raspberries, or I should say this was raspberries. This was a root of raspberry that I've bought from my mother-in-law's house, together with absolutely masses of other raspberry roots. In fact, probably more than we'll ever need. However, I'm really sad. What's happened is that the ducks have dibbled around in the ground and exposed its roots to the cold air and to the dry. So between the frost and the lack of rain, that's shriveled up. I will replant it and water it carefully in the hope that it will recover. But if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I have loads of pots of raspberries yet to go into the ground. I have row upon row of raspberries already in the ground, so it won't be the end of the world. And here, well, I can't remember if that's a red currant or a black currant. I think that might be a red currant or a black currant. Anyway, I do know it's not a white currant. Even the little pops of herbs that we've got dotted around are looking good. Oh, these chives are going to look great when they actually all open out and they've got those pale mauve flowers twinkling away in the sunshine. But this is really pretty. Just add a really nice texture and form to the garden amongst everything else. I was rather surprised today to see the very first few blossoms of elderflower. It's only May, but there they are in bloom already. And so it looks to me as though with a little bit of hard work and a lot of perseverance, we should be able to feed ourselves this year, or mostly feed ourselves, and that's what we're aiming for. Not to be completely self-sufficient, because we just can't do that, but to be as efficient as we can, so to produce as much of our own food as we can with the resources we've got, both the physical resources and the emotional resources, and with our physical resilience. Anyway, I think the point I was trying to make is that although the garden looks messy and it's still very young in its development, for what was actually just a paddock a year ago, this is looking pretty lush.